Well, g'day curd nerds. Today we're making Leyden, and Leyden is a washed curd cheese. So this is very similar to Gouda or Gouda, it depends on how you want to pronounce it, and it has the addition of cumin seeds. So cumin seeds all throughout the cheese, and we add those after we've drained the curds away through our cheesecloth. Anyway, on with the cheese.
And the ingredients for this cheese is 10 litres of full cream milk, an eighth of a teaspoon of mesophilic culture, 2.5 ml of calcium chloride, 2.5 ml of liquid rennet, 1.5 tablespoons of cumin seeds, and some saturated brine solution, and cheese wax is optional. So you're going to bring our milk up to temperature, which is 29 degrees Celsius or 85 Fahrenheit. And then we're going to, in the meantime, we're going to boil our cumin seeds in 750 ml or 3 cups of tap water for 10 minutes. This just rehydrates the seeds so they're easy to distribute throughout the cheese later on. So just give that a good stir, and then, as I mentioned, bring it to the boil and then just simmer for 10 minutes. Now I put that aside. Now we're going to add the starter culture. So the mesophilic starter culture, just sprinkle that around the top. And once that's sufficiently rehydrated, give that a good stir into the milk. Trying not to bring air into the milk. Just give that a good stir. Now there's no ripening time for this cheese, so we're going to add the calcium chloride straight away. I'm going to stir that throughout the milk. And now we're going to add the rennet to the cheese, to the milk. And we're going to stir for no longer than 1 minute. That's a good stir. Right, we're going to cover it and we're going to allow it to set for 40 minutes. So 40 minutes later, we are going to check for a clean break. Now you can use your finger, but in this case I'm going to use a flat knife. Yes, it breaks cleanly. It's good, it's ready to cut. Yes, big thumbs up, thanks Gav. So I'm going to cut into 1.25 centimetre or half-inch cubes. So I've just done the horizontal with my curd cutter, and with my curd knife, just do the vertical cuts. For those wondering what that black thing is on my hand, I've got osteoarthritis in my thumb joint. So it's just stopping that from hurting. Okay, we're going to let the curds heal now for 5 minutes. Just pop the lid on so no dust falls into the pot. So there we go, magic of video. 5 minutes later, we're going to stir the curd now to release some of the whey. And just make sure that any of the big chunks of curd, just cut them with the edge of the spoon. So give that a good stir for 5 minutes. And you can see that I'm stopping occasionally to cut those big pieces of curd and then take a little bit of that cultured cream off the top that just happened to float to the top. So we're trying to make sure that all the curds are of even size, because occasionally you do miss some when you cut. So once you've stirred for the 10 minutes, you let it rest, and in the meantime heat some water up to 60 degrees Celsius, because this is now we're going to be washing the curd. So after 5 minutes of resting, we're going to take out some of the whey. Not all of it just yet. So we're going to remove 5 cups in this instance, which is about 1.25 litres. Now we're going to replace that with a similar amount of the 60 degree water. And we're going to bring the temperature up to 140 Fahrenheit or 60 Celsius. Sorry, that's the temperature of the water. So we're going to give it a good stir. So we're washing the curd, so we're actually reducing the acidity of the cheese now, or what the final cheese will be. And we're helping release some more of the whey by stirring it. So 10 minutes later, so there's a good 10-minute stir there after adding the 5 cups of water. Oh, sorry, the 4 cups of water. So you can see how much the curds has reduced. So we're just going to let that settle again for a second time, popping the lid on. So just let it settle for 5 minutes. Thanks, Siri. In the meantime, heat some water up, or bring that same water down to 43 degrees Celsius. And we're going to take the curds the level of the whey down to the level of the curds. So I'm using a sieve and a ladle in this instance. It works very well. You don't get any of the curds being scooped out and discarded. By the way, this is very good whey, pardon the pun, to make a whey ricotta with. Nice and creamy. So you can see I'm down to the level of the curds now. Shouldn't go much more. There we go. Now we're going to add in a similar amount of hot water that I've got at 43 Celsius. But before you do that, to make sure that the curds don't mat when you pour the warm water in, give it a good stir just to make sure that the curds are nice and loose, because they have been resting for that time while you got the whey out. So as I said, 43 Celsius, 109 Fahrenheit, up to the level of the whey, the original level of the whey. So the target temperature should be down to about 37 Celsius or 110 Fahrenheit. So you give it a good stir for 20 minutes. So we're bringing the acidity of the cheese down. You can see it's about baked bean size. That's perfect. That's what you need. So we're going to let the curds rest again before we pour it off. So 10 minutes, and it should mat into a fairly solid mass. Now in the meantime, there's my cumin seeds in my water. It should be cool now because the process has taken so long. The cumin seeds there at the bottom. And we're about to add them to the curd mass. So here I am pouring off the water and whey combination, and you can see the curd mass is quite large down the bottom. Plonk that in there. And we're going to now pour the little jug of cumin water over the top of the curds. Just pour that through. Now that may colour some of the curds, I'm not too sure. This is only the first time I've made this Leyden. I have made a similar cheese called Kaminokaas. Hope I said that right. And it's a very similar process. There we go. And then we'll plonk all the cumin seeds in that are sitting at the bottom of the jug. And now we're going to just very gently distribute them through the curds. and that cumin water will drain off, which is fine. That's what we want it to do. So just mix them through thoroughly, very lightly. Don't press the curds through your fingers. Add no pressure to it, just nice and gently. Give them a good stir through. When you think they're evenly distributed through, we're going to transfer those curds into our basket for pressing. So I'm just going to transfer the curd mass there. You can see all the cumin seeds all the way around. I'm using a 165mm basket. This is what I normally use for cheeses that I make that have 10 litres of milk. So just firmly pressing that with a follower. We're going to lightly press this now, 10 kilos or 22 pounds for 30 minutes to help form the curds into a cheese shape. So 30 minutes later, you can see the whey is running off clear. That's a good sign, you've done a good job. And then you're not losing fat through the pressing process. So take off the follower. Just be gentle with the cheese at this stage. It's not fully formed. Just lightly turn that over. And we're going to pop it back into the press now. And we're going to press it 13 kilos, which is 30 pounds for 12 hours or overnight. So it can be a little bit longer than 12 hours if you want to go to bed. So the next day, for me, I just take it out of the press and we're going to brine it for 12 hours and we'll turn it once at the 6 hour mark. So this is a very firm cheese now, which is exactly what I'm after. I'm going to pop that into the brine. I was cutting off the excess, just trimming some of the cheese that stuck through the follower. Pop it into the brine and just leave that at room temperature. So once you pulled it out of the brine, we're going to allow it to air dry for 2 to 3 days, turning daily. I did turn it every 12 hours. Just make sure you pop a cheesecloth over the top of that just to keep the flies off. Once it's touch dry, then wax it or vac pack it. We're going to mature at 10 degrees Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit for 6 weeks or longer if you want a bit of a sharper cheese. Don't forget to turn it weekly during maturation.
Well, thanks curd nerds for watching the Leyden cheese making video tutorial. Here's the cheese. It'll be ready on the 11th of November and we'll have a taste test video. But don't forget that you can also be a patron of the show, helping me make these cheese making videos on a regular basis by clicking up here, and check out some of our other cheese making videos down here. Thanks for watching curd nerds, and we'll see you next time.